Hi, I'm Lisanne Miller with W, Cushing and Company, and here is September's third Thursday with Lisanne. And we're going to go over By the Light of the Moon. It was a curated show that we did at Souter for 2024, Souter Village Rug Hooking Week, and a lot of you loved it. There is a YouTube video with each of the artists, and you can go to W Cushing YouTube, put in By the Light of the Moon, and you'll get it. But we're going to go into some of the guts and the semantics of how to hook the moon or to pick your colors, because a lot of you have asked. First, this is the latest issue of Rug Hooking Magazine that will be on the stand soon. We get an advance copy. Welcome, Caitlin. It was a pleasure to meet you at Souter. We're looking forward to working together and continuing the third Thursdays. So let's have some fun. This is a great issue. Turning paintings into rugs, particularly interesting. All right, so let's delve into the moon. And at the end, I'm going to show you the tessellated Into the Woods trees from the lasagna die, because I've been working on it. All right, this is Into the Moon, By the Light of the Moon. That is the picture, the graphic that I did. And here is the pattern when you get it. Now, the first thing is you're going to say there's a lot of lines on this pattern. Well, it doesn't mean you have to hook all the lines, and I'm going to use the paper to show you. But it's more for direction of hooking. I know that I've always talked about direction of hooking, direction of hooking. Well, direction of hooking in this piece in particular makes or breaks it. It makes it whether it's precise, whether it's muted. So a lot of these little lines in here do not have to be filled in, but they show you the direction of hooking. Also, this helps you to keep this round. And you can finish it as a round piece, finish it as a square piece. That is entirely up to you. So that is the pattern By the Light of the Moon. Now, what I want to talk about first is if you would not like a face, okay? And here, this is by Pam Landry. This is the blue moon. When you have 2 full moons in a month, the second moon is called the blue moon. Now, she wanted it to look like the man in the moon because you're always looking when you look at the moon for the man in the moon. Now, why we call it the man in the moon? Because a man was banished for stealing from his neighbor and banished to the moon. So that is the lore, okay? And this is what she did. So she used texture and dyed again. She used the texture very carefully. It was a herringbone that she cut, and she cut it into a 6, a little bit larger, so you can see it's not heavy. This is one piece of dyed wool that is also cut into a 4 and a 6, but it's hooked in puzzle pieces because she didn't want cheeks. She didn't want it an angle. She wasn't putting glint in the eyes. So she used one piece of wool. She used a texture. She gave you the impression of the eyebrows, and order of hooking is also important, and we'll go over that. The eyes do not have a glint. They do not have an eyeball because the face is there but not there. And the face corresponds with the background so that it's subtle. Nothing is jarring in this piece by Pam Landry. So that is one option. She used 1, 2, 3 wools. And by using the 3 wools, she got a very subtle and achieved a great effect. And I'm not going to go over each of the moons in the display because they are on the video, but these are examples of how to hook this. So this is very subtle. It's there but not there. Yes, she used wool that was dyed on silver glitter to give it that shimmer. She did not add any Arctic rays or anything to it. So it is subtle. The features are there but not there, and they correspond to her background. Okay. This is my moon, which will go into a bigger installation. Now, a lot of the girls, or a lot of us, had reasons for the moon. Mine had to be a gentle moon, okay? And since it's going to be installed in a much larger piece, I couldn't use one palette. I have a plethora of colors in here. I used my direction of hooking instead of putting in all the lines, as you can see, by going this way to create those cheeks, coming over here to finish. I wanted him to look this way based on where he's going. So if you notice, the darkest pieces are stacked more here. I originally had a lot more dark around his face. He was not as kind and gentle looking. So I took those out and replaced them with these lighter colors. And my nose is there but not there. The eyebrow comes down and connects it. This eyebrow is larger for a reason, to help point the eye to look this way. I have not glinted my eye yet. I won't glint it. I will not put the glint in until it is installed in the larger piece, because I need this to look down and it has to be put in just right. So sometimes, like in Pam's, you don't need the glint. In this one, I do need the glint. The mouth is there, but not there. You can see it. It corresponds to down here, all pointing the face this way. So I used quite a bit of little nibs and nabs, but I kept it into about 3 colors and made sure of where it was going. I did not use a bright white because the background is going to be a very, very deep blue black. So that's how I accomplished this moon. I have more lines than Pam. You can see up in here the furrows. I use that to show direction and features. This was done by Patty Wilson. Now, Patty, this is about global warming, so he is crying an icicle because they're disappearing. Patty used one piece of wool in here. She used size of cut, and a lot of times size of cut helps. Her features are outlined in a much smaller cut than what the moon is hooked in. And she used the deepest color from the moon for the features because she wanted her features to be predominant. She wanted the lips to be predominant. She wanted the eyes to be piercing. Her glint is here. It is looking out. She put in some eyelash and roving for the eyebrows to give them that icy look. But her eyelids, and this gave him the look of being sad or looking too global warming, by sculpting. This is a tight sculpt. This is the eyelids, and they're sculpted. They're sculpted with a dyed wool. Then she came in with a small cut, a 4 cut. So by mixing the size of the cut, by mixing the height, these are all tools in our tool belt, she achieved a very, very nice look. She added in glisten. She added in Arctic rays. She did a lot to make it look icy and frosty. To match this sculpting, the icicle is sculpted. The eyes are not as dark as the lips. They're more piercing in this value. So again, she has about 4 or 5 pieces in here, but she took off her main moon. She accented from her main moon color. Direction of hooking in, direction of hooking around. Okay, so she achieved that all with not a million colors, but enough. And like I said, size of cut, mixing size of cut also helped to achieve this. The next moon is done by Jenny Adcock. And Jenny used dyed wool. She has a pinkish moon. The pinkish moon is soft as petals. But she used accents, 1, 2, 3, not from her moon. Her features are more deliberate. Her nose is there. Her eyes are there. This is metallic yarn. She mixed it up. This is metallic. She did that to direct it with such a soft color. And by using this as the eyelids as opposed to sculpting, she achieved the same effect as Patty, but didn't sculpt. So she used these three colors into here and over here. Use them sporadically in here to make that direction. Also, over the eye, she used a softer color. Her glint is done, but her glint is in to look away. It's done with a piece of linen tied. And this is our metallic yarn. And she used the metallic yarn in here to give it a little more direction, a little more oomph. She used it down here as well. That's her darkest value. She rung the moon in it, and that's what solidifies it in here. She used it to ring the moon, then put a little halo. All this accents the face. The order of hooking is you pick your moon color, you pick your lips and nose. So you start here with your moon, you go to your nose, you go to the lips, and then the eyes are last. When you do the nose, you do the eyebrows. Why? Because you have to decide if you want to connect the eyebrow. Do you want the eyebrows large to make them furrowing to look? Do you want the nose complete? And also you start with your direction of hooking. You can also sculpt your nose to make your nose stand up. So with very few colors, she has achieved a great look. And notice the whites of the eyes are not white. She's used the green, she's used the mauve color, she's used all of that and achieved great looking eyes, a nose, and her mouth. Her mouth is a little different than the others. It gives it a different expression, a pursing expression. And so again, not from the pinks, but complements the pinks. This was punched. This is Russian punch or ultra punch, whatever you call it, okay? This is not beaded. And it never appears as beautiful as it is. It just sparkles like a piece of brocade. But this was done by Laura Strawn. She punched it in all the Krynic glisten threads that we have that you would use in needlepoint. And she did everything so that it glistened. So her moon had to have features that really stood out. If she had used a subtle for her eyes and her lips, even her nose, they would have disappeared. So she has two accent colors. When you want to go all sparkle, all glitter like this, it's great because the moon is shimmery. But then you have to pick another color, and she picked turquoise and jet black. So while she used the black a little bit to give it direction, she also came with a silver gray black. It just is an off black back here to set this up like a halo, to set it up. The black started the eyes. Again, with the nose, her nose is predominant, but she changed value. By changing the value slightly with all the glitter, she was able to get a dimensional nose without having to bring it all the way up to the top. The nose stops right into here, but looks dimensional. She wanted the eyes to look that way. She used black. She used a little bit of turquoise, a little bit of blue silver, and this is a light turquoise, almost a mint green, iridescent. As you can see it a little bit better there. Where the eye is placed lets the eye look. She's got her glint to add to it. Again, we go to the lips, the darker on the top, the lighter on the bottom. She introduced a little bit of turquoise gold here, which was a Krynic. That let the lips go, the top lip go over to the bottom lip and give it an expression. So no matter if you're hooking, punching, using sparkle, using wool, using dyed wool, using textures, the process is the same based on the effect that you want. And you have to go into this knowing what you want your moon to look like. Okay? Or you may end up with an Elvis moon. And if you want an Elvis moon, that's okay too. When she finished, because this is the only place that this Krynic was used, it was haloed all the way around to set it up and tie everything in. But again, this was done with the Ultra Punch and Krynic. This is not beaded, although it looks just like a brocade piece. And she took her turquoise and her values from her wool background. She wool appliqued the phases of the moon using the Krynic again. But she didn't use black. She used a navy blue to let his features become predominant and to let him look. So that is the Ultra Punch with the Krynic by Laura Strawn. This piece, Love You to the Moon and Back by Jane Smith, she used more of cream and gray colors to a brown. She did sculpt the hearts. She wanted the eyes to look at the hearts. She finished it as a heart. So what she had to do is get her colors in here, a couple of dyed wools, and then her taupes. Her taupes and her grays start to form. She used her brownie taupes to create this. This starts the direction of looking into the hearts. She furrowed this way, not this way. Why? When you furrow this way, and it's important, if you want those furrowed this way, it looks more up. You're directing the eyes up more. Of course, a dark brown for the eyebrows. She only used a small lighter brown for the nose, but used her direction of hooking coming straight down, not coming at an angle. She came straight down with her hooking to create her nose. She used browns, cream. She used all the darker colors to accent, to draw to the eyes, and then came above mixing textures, solids, and dyes in shades of these, I'm going to say golden browns to a brown taupe. Now, with this, she wrung the eye this way. You can see it's wrung from here to here to point it in that direction. Her glint is a little different than everybody else's. Her glint is not a knot. Her glint is a tail, a loop, and a tail. It's more of a line. The line lets you focus a little bit more where you want it to look. Her reds correspond here a little bit. You know, they correspond. This is sculpted, this is hooked, so they look a little different, but they correspond. But she used a brown red, and she used it in such a way that the lips have a very nice look, a very loving look, and the whole face has a very, very loving look. Again, direction of hooking, important. So this is by Jane Smith. And again, a texture, she put a texture in the eye. So you can combine dyed wool, mixed media, texture, height of hooking, size of hook, all important, okay? Now, important is, let's look at this. We're going to take this for a minute and dissect it. So if you're going to hook and you want him to look in that direction, your darker colors are going to come into here. Your eyebrows point. You can just do one eyebrow here, or you can make it a bigger eyebrow, and I'm going to change the way it looks, right into there. This you can connect to the nose and make it thinner, or you can make it not connect. You saw both in the samples that I showed you. If you want the nose to be more predominant, when you outline the nose, you can outline it and bring it up. Not many of the girls did that. You don't have to. Again, direction of hooking. You can come straight down. You can come around. You can sculpt. The lips. leading up to the lips, you need to put your lines underneath. They're your laugh lines. They're not a double chin like some of us have. So then we have your sides this way and your sides this way. Your darker lip is on the top, medium, light. If you don't want that to be an open mouth, then you bring up the medium and you bring down the dark to close it in, which is what I did. The eyes are a very simple thing. You're going to come in here, you're going to give them eyeliner, an eyeliner with one of your accent colors. This is an accent color. Then you have the color of the eye and the fill-in. So you break it apart. It's the same way that I hook my Santa eyes, and that's the way almost all the moons you saw were hooked. If you want it to go in a different direction, you can furrow it this way up top, or you can furrow it this way, up to you. Okay, let's look at some quick color palettes. The first one is a neutral texture. And while it makes a great white pumpkin, it also makes a great white creamy moon. And you have your colors here. You can use this, and you can do the eyes in a color. This would allow your accent to be brown, to be gray. You can bring in many, many different colors for your accent. You could come in here with an accent. You can come in with a gray, look at that as the accent, or make this your moon, these your accents. You can combine the two. This one piece frozen would make a moon, and you can make a subtle face. You can make a bold face with black or brown, or this is how it goes. This can be your bold, this can be your moon. 2 pieces of wool, okay? Main sky and frozen. Here's your moon, here's your features. Here's an accent if you like the blue. If you don't, you can go this way and bring in a little green and blue. We'll make a very subtle moon. So you don't need a lot of colors because these have a lot of colors in them. Okay. Another option, and this is why we like tricolors oh so much. We love it. This is Storybook Snow. Well, we can turn Storybook Snow into a moon very quickly. You want a soft moon, just like this. You'll get some highs and some lows, and in here comes your features. Or this can be your direction to point, and we can come over into here and make subtle features with softest petals. But a tricolor like Storybook Snow would give you almost everything you need for your moon, and then you pull from your stash with some purples and some grays to finish it out. This is the wool that Jenny used in her moon, softest petals. You can accent it with Eiled Parchment or change it up with Mother of Pearl. Mother of Pearl also makes the moon. Or you can have parchment to make the moon and pull your accents from your stash, from textures. It's really a mix and match as to what you want. This is one time you have to have an idea of how you would like it. Soft, kind, whatever you would like your moon to look like. You can take Mother of Pearl and mix Main Sky with it. Different things that you can do. And you can use textures as we saw. You can do an orange moon. A lot of you saw Val Flanagan's beautiful moon. You can use a dyed orange, or you can use an overall 2 plaids. This would make a great harvest moon with some features, a little bit more of the features, the yellow, and the accent. And this would also make a textured harvest moon. So you can give and take, get your main colors in. That's the thing. What do you want the moon to look like? Harvest moon, wolf moon, a pinkish moon, the lotus moon, whatever you would like. So once you get your base, then from your base, you pull your accent and your darker colors. So I hope that that gets you on your way to color planning and pulling from your wools. Now, I have one more little surprise here, and that is the Into the Woods. Okay, so here we have Into the Woods. I'm not done yet, but I'm almost done. So this is all from the lasagna die that we did earlier in the year, okay? All the trees are hooked and the tree trunks. My constant is this green plaid texture. I use that across for the grasses. It's the same texture, but it has many different colors to it, red, orange. And then this and this match kind of. Not everything doesn't match all the way, but I used dyed wool and I ramped it up in the shadow with textures. The trees are not all identical, but from a distance they look identical. The tree trunks, sorry, but they are all from that dye pot. So now the sky is going in. The sky will go in. This will be the same here. It's here. This will be a different sky. This will be a different sky as well. So that you have color going vertically, differently, but horizontally, it's what we call the common denominator. It's your constant. Okay, so there we are with it. It's getting there, looking good. We'll have it done probably in a day or two, but this is where we are with it, and I think we're getting there. All right, so enjoy your September, enjoy your apple season, the start of fall and cooler weather. Get your rugs out, and I will see you next month in the dye kitchen. Bye for now.